Chapter 59 Horror Dungeon, Ruins Number 44. This graveyard is ours, we will play in it and be buried in it. A small boy, covered in dust, finished speaking to the players with a smile, then turned and joyfully ran to his companions, happily sliding down a slope in a huge sandy pit filled with scattered graves. Near the vast sandy pit were other sandy pits of various sizes, and in the distance, many dilapidated buildings could be seen. This place was already riddled with scars, reduced to ruins. Many corpses, missing arms or legs, headless, or only half-bodied, were piled like mountains in those sandy pits. Dust flew, blurring people's vision, and drying the blood and tear stains on the bodies in the sandy pits. Perhaps those children had seen too much bloodshed and tears. They no longer feared death, as if they knew they had only briefly come to this world, with no future, no expectations, and nothing to fear from death. Hyphenation point. Because Yu Wenwen's lucky card had malfunctioned, Qin Shishi could no longer be matched into an instance with her. Although a little disappointed, Qin Shishi still cheered up. For her and her boyfriend to return to the real world as soon as possible, she rested for 2 days and then entered the next instance. Welcome player to the SS rank horror instance, Ruins Number 44. Please complete the mission. Protect the children in the ruins. Upon landing, Qin Shishi couldn't help but cough. How could the system matching kick up so much dust this time, making her eyes and nose uncomfortable? System. Qin Shishi rubbed her eyes, irritated by the sand, then tried to open her vision to see what this instance world looked like. Dust rolled, broken walls remained, and the surrounding environment was eerily quiet. The air faintly carried the choking smell of residual gunpowder. She frowned, moved her feet, and began to search for her teammates matched by the system this time. After walking for a short while, she was attracted by a fierce argument coming from a collapsed restaurant. Qin Shishi wasn't sure if the people inside were her teammates or the terrifying NPCs of this instance. She lightened her steps and quietly approached, hiding behind a dilapidated wall that could serve as cover. The restaurant seemed to have suffered a powerful artillery attack. The storefront sign had fallen to the ground, shattered into several pieces, and the restaurant had no roof, only 4 leaky walls of varying heights surrounding it. A man in a blue shirt with a middle part grabbed the collar of another man in a brown jacket with a buzz cut, saying angrily, "So it was you Jinx. All this trouble is because of your mouth." The buzz-cut man said fearfully, "I was just angry at the time and said that if I were matched into a super difficult instance, you would be my teammate. How could I have known it would come true now?" The middle part man's expression was as ugly as if he had eaten shit. He released the buzz-cut man's collar. "I just knew that no matter how bad my luck usually was, I'd at least be matched into an S-rank instance that wasn't too difficult. How could I suddenly be matched into this SS rank instance?" "But how did you recognize that I was the one who said that in the live stream room back then?" the buzz-cut man asked, surprise. The middle part man looked at Wang Bafu with a resentful gaze, then covered his face and squatted on the ground, sighing, "Don't you know you can click on a commenter's name in the live stream room to enter his homepage and view his basic information?" Wang Bafu scratched his head sheepishly and squatted down with him. "Looks like I made quite an impression on you, haha. What's your name, teammate?" The middle part man didn't want to talk to Wang Bafu at all right now. He bought a cigarette from the system with a frustrated expression, then turned his back to Wang Bafu and squatted, smoking as if no one else was there. God knows, after he was cursed along with that Jinx in that live stream room, he felt unwell. Especially after looking at his homepage at the time, that person's face kept appearing in his dreams every night, with his mouth repeatedly playing, "If I get matched into a super difficult instance, then you'll be my teammate, you'll be my teammate, my teammate." Because he had continuous nightmares like this, the middle part man was so scared that he holed up in his house and didn't dare to enter the next instance for half a month. And because he didn't have such a nightmare the night before entering this instance, the middle part man dared to step into an instance again. But what he didn't expect was that that night was just the calm before the storm. Don't lose heart, even though I'm a jinx. I didn't say we'd die together, Wang Bafu said, laughing carelessly. Middle part man, are you toxic? Qin Shishi heard them clearly from outside. After confirming they were teammates, she poked her head out and said to the two men inside the wall, "Hello there. Teammates." Wang Bafu and the middle part man simultaneously looked towards the source of the voice, and both their faces showed expressions of pleasant surprise. The middle part man threw away his cigarette butt, stood up excitedly, and said happily, "Great. I'm saved." He then rushed over to Qin Shishi, introducing himself with an excited expression. "Beauty Shishi, I never thought I'd meet you here. It's a blessing in disguise. My name is Zhu Shidong. Please guide me in this instance." As Zhu Shidong finished speaking, he reached out his hand to shake Qin Shishi's. Wang Bafu, who was still surprised in the distance, reacted and quickly came over, enthusiastically introducing himself to Qin Shishi. "Beauty Shishi, Master, I like you so much. I've watched a few S-rank instance live streams featuring you, and I truly admire your abilities. My name is Wang Bafu, and I am honored to be in the same instance as you." As he finished speaking, he also eagerly reached out his hand, wanting to shake Qin Shishi's hand. Qin Shishi looked at their expectant eyes and eagerly extended hands, and suddenly Jiang Yi's wrong face and his sour, jealous words popped into her mind. "Jiang Yi, you are not allowed to shake hands or have any physical contact with any man other than me, not even out of politeness. They all want to covet my baby." However, before Qin Shishi could politely decline their handshake, the two men started arguing again. Zhu Shidong annoyedly swatted away Wang Bafu's outstretched hand and said seriously to Qin Shishi, "Beauty Shishi, this man is a jinx, so don't shake his hand, lest you invite bad luck." As Zhu Shidong finished speaking, his own outstretched hand was also slapped down by Wang Bafu. Wang Bafu admitted that he was very unlucky, having had bad luck since childhood, otherwise his mother wouldn't have prayed to gods and Buddhas every day for his safe growth. It was quite miraculous. When he was 5 years old, he suddenly had a persistent high fever, and even doctors were at a loss. His mother carried him under the robe of a parading drunk Guangong again and again, and later his fever really did subside. People said, "Passing under Guangong's robe, every difficulty will be overcome." The gods truly favored him, but unfortunately, he brought about his own demise. On his 24th birthday, he disregarded his mother's dissuasion and insisted on trying skydiving. As a result, his parachute failed to open, and he fell to his death. Chapter 60. I can't protect my sister anymore, I'm sorry. It wasn't until after his death, when he arrived in this terrifying instance world, that he realized how truly unlucky he was. Even Grandpa Guan couldn't protect him from his own self-destructive actions. Wang Bafu frowned and angrily retorted to Zhu Shidong, "Shaking hands with me brings bad luck, and your hand has already touched mine twice. You'll be unlucky from now on." "Wang Bafu, I may be unlucky, but I won't allow you to ruin my first impression in front of Beauty Shishi. Otherwise, I'll drag you down with me." Upon hearing this, Zhu Shidong immediately jumped up, grabbed Wang Bafu's collar, and started yelling. Qin Shishi wanted to mediate but didn't know how. It was only the first day, and her teammates were already fighting. The next 6 days were going to be difficult. Qin Shishi heard a strange noise behind her and quickly stopped Zhu Shidong and Wang Bafu. The two also ceased their argument and, along with Qin Shishi, hid behind cover to assess the situation. Not far away, a dozen or so scattered humanoid monsters appeared. Their heads resembled poisonous mushrooms, and they carried unknown firearms. They were rummaging through the ruins, seemingly searching for something. With a loud bang, the wall Qin Shishi, Wang Bafu, and Zhu Shidong were hiding behind was knocked down by some unlucky person. The three were instantly exposed to the sight of the gun-wielding monsters. When the dozen or so monsters saw Qin Shishi and her companions, their eyes gleamed with the predatory light of hunters, as if they wanted to tear them apart, devour them, and skin them alive. Several monsters even extended their black tongues and began unconsciously licking their mouths, clearly looking like they were about to enjoy a feast. Quick, use an item to escape. Don't just stand there. Kinshishi immediately used a bounce item, turned, and leaped over the restaurant ruins, moving several steps away from the monsters. Zhu Shidong and Wang Bafu also reacted, quickly using their self-defense bounce items, wanting to follow Kinshishi's lead. But seeing the beautiful woman gracefully leap over a wall more than 1.5 meters high, they were both stunned. It wasn't until they heard the monsters' approaching footsteps behind them, and the continuous gunfire, that Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong scrambled to climb over the wall that Kinshishi had just cleared in a single bound. Thanks to the boost from her blood-mist high heels, Kinshishi left Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong far behind. After running for a while, when she no longer heard the sounds of pursuit, Kinshishi stopped and looked back. The monsters and her two teammates were gone. Kinshishi, strange, where are they? Where are the monsters? Jing. Not to mention, this item is quite effective. Your luck is really good. Meanwhile, Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong were still being chased by the monsters. They lost Kinshishi at a fork in the road. Think of something. How can we shake them off? Wang Bafu shouted to Zhu Shidong, who was running beside him. You ask me, who should I ask? Who told you to be a jinx? Zhu Shidong now wished he could stop and punch Wang Bafu several times. What did I say? It's my fault again. You were just cursing me to have bad luck. And then I was unlucky enough to knock down the wall. Now I'm being chased by monsters. Wang Bafu, so you were the one who knocked down the wall. Zhu Shidong, run, you jinx. Let's split up. I want to split up from you. You go that way, I'll go this way. Wang Bafu, why are you still following me? Are you intentionally trying to get me killed with your bad luck? Kinshishi, meanwhile, thought her teammates had lured the monsters away and began to worry about them. My teammates are really good people. I wonder where the monsters will chase them to. Kinshishi felt she couldn't let her teammates' kindness go to waste. While they were distracting the monsters, she had to quickly find some useful clues. The mission was to protect the children in the ruins, so she would start by looking for traces of children. Kinshishi began searching for children in the ruins, but after searching for a long time, she found nothing. Until she saw a high tower, over 10 meters tall. Perhaps she could climb the tower to get a panoramic view of the area and possibly find the children. No sooner said than done, Kinshishi rushed towards the tower without delay. When she entered the tower, she found that the lingering, pungent smell of gunpowder and ammunition was even stronger inside than outside. Kinshishi, am I walking into a trap, accidentally stumbling into the monster's lair? Since she was already there, and the monsters were probably still chasing her two unlucky teammates and hadn't returned yet, Kinshishi decided to see if there were any clues here. She began searching the tower's base, which was about 100 square meters. Aside from a few guns scattered on the sandy ground, identical to those held by the monsters, and some blood-like solidified stains on the ground near the walls, there was nothing else. Kinshishi followed the bloodstains up the wall to the ceiling. It seemed to be seeping down from the second floor of the tower. Kinshishi bravely and swiftly ascended the stairs from the first floor to the second floor of the tower. The entire second floor was filled with countless people, hanging from hooks protruding from the ceiling. Large hooks pierced their throats, suspending them. Their bodies had been hollowed out. Not only were their internal organs from their chest and abdominal cavities completely removed, but their eyes were also bloody, some were missing ears, and others lacked arms or legs. Blood was still flowing from their bodies in thin streams, and a very thick, bloody smell hung in the air. Kinshishi was so shocked that she covered her mouth. The sudden, bloody and terrifying scene was a huge shock to her senses. She unconsciously took a few steps back and heard a sound coming from the third-floor stairwell. Qin Shishi immediately used an invisibility item to conceal herself. She saw a dirty little boy, 5 or 6 years old, with his hands and feet bound, hopping down the stairs between the second and third floors. Qin Shishi, a child. The child's eyes reddened as he looked at the bloody scene on the second floor. He slowly hopped over to a hanging female corpse and pressed his small face against her leg. The little boy clung tightly to the female corpse, his voice a series of broken sobs. "Mommy, mommy, mommy, I can't protect my little sister anymore, I'm sorry." Seeing this scene, Qin Shishi's heart felt as if it had been struck by a heavy stone, aching painfully. Just then, a heavy thudding and dragging sound came from the stairwell leading from the first to the second floor. It didn't sound like a normal person, it couldn't be her teammates, so it could only be monsters. Seeing the little boy still reluctantly clinging to the female corpse's thigh, Qin Shishi immediately used an invisibility item on him as well. Then, she quickly picked up the little boy, whose hands and feet were bound, and covered his mouth with her hand, in case he cried out from the sudden action. The little boy looked up at Qin Shishi, who was covering his mouth, with a bewildered expression. Qin Shishi gestured for him to be silent. Chapter 61. These monsters can be killed, right? Jiang Yi impatiently glanced at the players cowering against the wall. All players, help, his gaze is so terrifying. After Jiang Yi returned from the mental hospital instance, he immediately began dealing with the players stuck in his instance. Under the exquisite and dazzling chandelier, Jiang Yi anxiously paced around the lavishly decorated hall. A white-haired old man with a refined appearance, dressed in a butler's uniform, slowly walked down the stairs from the second floor to Jiang Yi's side. "Young master, the master asked me to remind you not to forget your promise to him." The old butler's voice was very calm. Jiang Yi frowned tightly and said indifferently, "I know. It's a long story, but the master found out that Jiang Yi kept skipping work to accompany his wife, so he directly confined him to his own instance to work diligently." Seeing Jiang Yi's listless attitude, perfunctorily dealing with the players who entered the instance, the master couldn't stand it anymore and gave Jiang Yi a chance. "Master, I'll give you an instance-long vacation to go accompany your wife. When you come back, you must take your work seriously. How about it?" "Jiang Yi, why is he suddenly so nice to me? There won't be a trick, will there?" "Master, and when you come back, as long as you diligently complete your work and deal with those players in a timely manner, I won't stop you from accompanying your wife in your free time." Jiang Yi hadn't seen Qin Shishi in over 10 days. Although he knew the master wouldn't easily let his baby get into trouble in this world, not being able to see his baby made him even more worried. So Jiang Yi agreed to the master's proposal, but he was still too naive and didn't expect the master to dig a pit for him. The cunning master naturally wouldn't give him a vacation for nothing. He also had a temper, and he always used both kindness and severity with such employees. So the master wiped Jiang Yi's memory and threw him into the mental hospital instance that Qin Shishi would be matched to. "Master, dare to play passive-aggressive with me. Eat a few more years of salt. I still need to travel the world with my wife. If you cause any more trouble, I'll make you regret it." Jiang Yi, who returned from the terrifying mental hospital instance, was angry but couldn't say anything. After all, the master had indeed given him an instance-long vacation. Then, Jiang Yi's expression turned gloomy, and he walked with heavy steps towards the players stuck in his instance. And those players, seeing the terrifying big boss getting closer, showed expressions of horror, their bodies trembling uncontrollably, and some were even crying and snorting from fright. "Game start. .. .. .. ! NRE summation, degree D degree." Here, Qin Shishi and the little boy were invisibly leaning against the wall. The little boy nodded at Qin Shishi's signal, indicating he wouldn't make a sound, so Qin Shishi released her hand covering his mouth. Two mushroom-head monsters came up from the first floor, dragging a man with them. The man's limbs had all been shot through, and blood was still gushing from his wounds. His tongue seemed to have been cut off, his mouth filled with unstoppable blood, his expression was pained, and broken whimpers came from his throat. It seemed he was beyond saving. Still trying to send messages, a suicidal fool. I love eating eyeballs the most, good thing his eyeballs weren't damaged. I like eating kidneys, and they taste better when dug out alive. I think children's kidneys taste better, so tender tilde. There's still a child upstairs, hehe, if we catch a few more later, the leader will probably share some with us. After one monster finished speaking, its black, greasy long tongue happily licked its mouth. The two monsters dragged the half-dead man to the center of the room and together hung him on a hook. The man struggled a few times and then fell silent. Quick, get the knife. While they haven't returned, quickly eat this man, otherwise, their won't be enough for us when they come back. One monster instructed the other monster to get the tools for processing ingredients. The other monster eagerly took a step towards the third floor but was called back by the first monster. Don't touch the child. If we don't catch a child today, that child will be the leader's dinner. If you touch him, both of us will die. Don't worry, I definitely won't touch him. We went out hunting for food behind the leader's back, wasn't it because we were afraid of not getting food and going hungry tonight? Now that we have this man, I naturally wouldn't be so stupid as to touch the child without the leader's permission. With that, the monster went to get the tools. Kinshishi nervously hugged the little boy and looked down at his condition. The little boy looked terrified but was holding back his tears, biting his lips tightly to prevent himself from making a sound. Kinshishi, taking advantage of the monster's attention being elsewhere, untied the little boy and quietly threw the rope aside. The untied little boy looked at Kinshishi, then at the monsters who couldn't see them at all. Hope shone in his eyes. He tightly hugged Kinshishi's thigh, as if grasping a life-saving straw. Kinshishi lovingly picked up the pitiful little boy again. She couldn't leave yet because she had a premonition that there would be unexpected gains next. Not long after, the monster who had just gone up to the third floor ran down in a panic and said to the monster on the second floor, "The child is gone, what should we do?" "What? Impossible, we were only out for an hour, how could he be gone? Did you secretly eat him when I wasn't looking?" "I didn't. I've been with you all day, and I was only up there for a moment, how could I have finished eating him?" "What do we do? When the leader comes back and sees his dinner is gone, we'll be beaten to death for poor supervision." As soon as the two monsters finished speaking, a loud commotion came from downstairs. Soon, a monster with a more prominent build led a dozen or so monsters to the second floor. It seemed the leading monster was their monster leader. Kinshishi was somewhat surprised to see annoyance on the monster leader's mushroom head face. The monster leader angrily glared at the two monsters he had assigned to guard the floor, then pointed at one of them and commanded, "You, bring me the child from upstairs." "Monster leader, the food I encountered today ran really ***ing fast. I got nothing at all. It's infuriating." However, the monster who was called trembled and stammered, "Le leader, that child ran away." "What?" The leader's expression changed drastically, and he stepped forward, kicking the two guarding monsters to the ground. "If you can't even watch a child, then you don't deserve to live." With that, the monster leader struck the mushroom head of the monster who had just spoken with a claw. His hand was different from the other monsters. Ordinary monsters had grey-green hands without nails, but the monster leader's grey-green fingers had sharp, pointed long nails. The monster leader's sharp long nails pierced through the head of the incompetent monster and pulled out a brain-sized, crystal-like object from inside. That object was instantly crushed by the monster leader's hand. As the crystal fragments fell, the monster whose head had been hollowed out immediately exploded on the spot. Kinshishi and the little boy's eyes widened at the scene. The little boy even covered his mouth, trembling and uneasily snuggling into Kinshishi's arms. "Kinshishi, these monsters can be killed, right?" Chapter 62. Could it be that he looks a lot like those mushroom-headed monsters? Kin Shishi retreated from the monster's lair with the little boy. The little boy's eyes lit up as he asked, "Sister, you can make the monsters not see us. That's amazing. Can you teach us?" "Us? Oh, my name is Tsuyoshi. Our home, Area 44, was destroyed by those mushroom-head monsters. They like to eat internal organs, so they often come to catch us." Kin Shishi thought, it seems there are other areas besides Area 44. "Tsuyoshi, I can't teach you my invisibility ability, because this ability is limited, and I can only use it a few times." Kin Shishi thought, she couldn't even take out the invisibility item rewarded by the system, she could only use it on people within her range at that moment. "Okay then, sister, can you stay here and protect us? I also have a younger sister and many little friends." Tsuyoshi looked at Kin Shishi with pleading eyes. Kin Shishi comforted him, "Tsuyoshi, sister came here to help you all, and sister already knows how to defeat these monsters. Tell sister, are there any adults here?" "Sister, almost all the adults in our Area 44 were captured and eaten by the mushroom head monsters. There should still be adults in other areas. My friends and I all hid in our secret base to escape the monster's capture," Tsuyoshi replied after thinking for a moment. Immediately, Kin Shishi asked Tsuyoshi about the situation in other areas and the secret base he mentioned. It turned out that this instance had many areas. Now, Area 44 had fallen, while other areas that hadn't fallen had built protective walls, stopping the monsters' attacks and not allowing people from other areas to enter their territory. Kin Shishi was currently separated from her two unlucky teammates and decided to first go to the secret base Tsuyoshi spoke of. They walked for half an hour, arriving at the secret base Tsuyoshi mentioned before dark. Kin Shishi looked at the mountain of corpses and sea of blood before her in shock. Countless bodies were piled in many sand pits. "Sister, don't be scared. They are all our family from our area. When the time comes, they will rise up and protect us," Tsuyoshi said, pointing at the bodies without any fear. "Why do you say that?" Kin Shishi tried hard to suppress her inner shock and asked Tsuyoshi in confusion. "Tsuyoshi, as long as the mushroom head monsters get close, they will rise up and attack the monsters, protecting us. That's why my friends and I hide here." "How did you get caught by these monsters?" Kin Shishi was led by the hand by Tsuyoshi, walking deeper into the sea of corpses. She forced herself not to look at the bodies. "My sister was hungry, and I wanted to go out and find something for her to eat when I was caught by the monsters. Luckily, sister saved me, otherwise I wouldn't be able to protect my sister," Tsuyoshi said happily. Soon, after passing through the sea of corpses, Tsuyoshi led Kin Shishi to a large sand pit where there was a dilapidated tent. "Tsuya, I'm back. Tsuya." Tsuyoshi slid down to the tent. Brother. An 8 or 9-year-old boy, holding a 3-year-old girl, walked out of the tent. The little girl called, "Brother," to Tsuyoshi several times. Subsequently, more than a dozen children and one adult also emerged. Kin Shishi looked closely and found them a bit familiar. "Beauty Shishi, what a coincidence, we're in the same instance again." Ma Lixin recognized Kin Shishi and exclaimed excitedly. "Ma Lixin, were you also matched to this instance?" Kin Shishi asked him in confusion after recognizing him. Ma Lixin awkwardly scratched his nose. "It's a long story. I'll tell you slowly later." It turned out that after Ma Lixin reached level 50, he learned that the monsters in this instance carried firearms, so he chose this instance to see if he could obtain more powerful offensive weapons after succeeding. "So you came after doing some research, right?" Kin Shishi asked Ma Lixin, sitting on a small stool in the tent. Ma Lixin nodded and carefully explained the information he had obtained about this instance to Kin Shishi. This instance had two types of monsters. One type were the mushroom head monsters wielding firearms, and the other type were the corpses of those killed by monsters outside. The difference was that the corpse monsters would only attack the mushroom head monsters. Both sides were immortal. Besides Area 44, there were other areas, but these other areas were not like Area 44, which had fallen into ruin. They had piled corpse monsters outside their protective walls. Once the mushroom head monsters approached, those corpse monsters would attack them. Moreover, the areas with protective walls would not accept people from fallen areas like Area 44, because their food and territory were limited. Previous players used to protect the children and surviving adults in Area 44, ensuring they weren't captured by monsters when they went out to find food. However, after 7 days of such protection, the system still declared their failure. Keen Shishi, does that mean only by completely eliminating the monsters here can it be considered a successful protection? Ma Lixin shook his head, indicating he didn't know, then explained, I have a restart card, so I came to this instance to see if I could get rare firearm type items. Ma Lixin is truly a gun enthusiast, but he's too foolish. Why waste a restart card on this instance? What if Ma Lixin actually clears it? Don't speak too soon. You upstairs don't know, no one has ever cleared this instance. Very few level 50 players choose this instance, and all players who came to this instance have failed without exception. The clearance rate is still 0. My restart card was used in this instance. At that time, we thought of countless ways, even throwing corpse monsters into the mushroom head monsters' lair to make them fight, but both types of monsters were immortal, and in the end, the system still judged our mission a failure. I've also been in this instance. At that time, my teammates and I thought of asking for help from other areas to see if they could take in people from Area 44, but we were rejected. So we protected the people of Area 44 who went out to find food to survive, but after 7 days, the system still judged our mission a failure. Did you gain anything after entering this instance? Keen Shishi asked Ma Lixin. Ma Lixin scratched his head sheepishly. I landed right in front of a few mushroom head monsters and was chased by them. Since I knew they were at odds with the corpse monsters, I led them all to the corpse monsters. Keen Shishi asked curiously, and then? Ma Lixin, the corpse monsters started fighting those mushroom head monsters, but those corpse monsters actually attacked me too. After I struggled to get rid of the monsters, I met a pie in them. When they brought me to the secret base, the corpse monsters didn't attack me like before. Previous players never encountered this situation. I really can't figure it out. That's right, those corpse monsters never attack players or people from Area 44, only mushroom head monsters. Why did they attack Ma Lixin, a player, this time? Could it be that he looks very similar to those mushroom head monsters? No way. I think it might be that he's particularly annoying to the corpse monsters. The upstairs argument doesn't hold up. Later, the corpse monsters in the secret base stopped attacking Ma Lixin, didn't they? That's what makes it strange. Chapter 63 Baby, you regret it, don't you? Keen Shishi pondered over what Ma Lixin encountered, and when the topic of corpse monsters came up, she suddenly recalled the bodies hanging on hooks that she had discovered in the mushroom head monster's nest. I accidentally stumbled into the mushroom head monster's nest today, and inside I found many bodies hanging on hooks. Do you know what's going on? Keen Shishi looked at Ma Lixin, the only teammate who knew about this instance's information, and asked. Those corpse monsters are people whose organs were eaten by mushroom head monsters. As long as their bodies' feet don't touch the ground, the bodies can't turn into corpse monsters. Right. That's why mushroom head monsters will hang the bodies after eating their internal organs, or hang them up before eating. Beauty Shishi probably hasn't reached level 50 yet, and was matched into this SS rank instance by the system. It's a good thing Beauty Shishi met Ma Lixin, this reckless person. At least he came in with a strategy. For rare items, he really is pushing his luck. By the way, there are still 2 teammates who haven't appeared in this instance, right? They might be 2 unlucky players, matched in by the system before reaching level 50. Because they don't understand the information about this instance, they might have been eaten by monsters. Ma Lixin was about to explain her discovery to Qin Shi when Xiao Shi, holding his sister Xiao Ya's hand, came up to them, along with the 8 or 9-year-old boy. Sister, this is my sister and my friend Apai. Thank you for saving me today. Apai wants to ask you something, is that okay? Xiao Shi said shyly, looking at Qin Shi. Seeing Qin Shi nod, Apai stepped forward, somewhat excitedly, and asked, Sister, I heard Xiao Shi say that you have a way to defeat the monsters, is that true? Upon hearing this, Ma Lixin excitedly stood up and said to Qin Shi, You have a way to defeat the monsters, Beauty Shi. You truly surprise me, tell me quickly. So, Qin Shi briefly told Ma Lixin about seeing the mushroom head monster leader today and crushing its brain crystal with her bare hands. So that's how it is. Previous players never discovered the weaknesses of these mushroom head monsters. Beauty Shi, you directly found their vital point, you are amazing. As Ma Lixin finished speaking, his eyes were full of admiration as he looked at Qin Shi. Apai said incredulously, So they're not immortal, are they? Qin Shi nodded in response, indicating that it was indeed the case. But then he immediately lowered his gaze in disappointment and turned to leave. Ma Lixin looked at Apai's reaction, a bit puzzled. Why did he suddenly become dejected and leave? Thank you, big brother, for sharing your food with us today. It's getting late, I'll take my sister to bed now. Good night, big brother and big sister. As Xiao Shi finished speaking, he led his sister away to sleep. Qin Shi and Ma Lixin, tired from the day, also pulled out their sleeping bags and prepared to sleep right there. But when Ma Lixin's snores began, Qin Shi still couldn't fall asleep. She missed Jiangyi a little, wondering what he was doing now, and if he was thinking of her. Not far outside, the sandpits were filled with mountains of corpse monsters, keeping her mind in a constant state of tension. She was quite envious of Ma Lixin now, having reached level 50, prepared with strategies and mentally ready before entering this instance, he could now sleep so soundly amidst this mountain of corpses. Since she couldn't sleep, Qin Shi decided to ponder the day's questions. Why was Ma Lixin attacked by corpse monsters? But corpse monsters have always only attacked mushroom head monsters. What is the connection between them? Why was he attacked? Qin Shi whispered to herself, closing her eyes, searching for their commonality in her mind. She seemed to have a premonition that the answer was about to be revealed. Because of the gun. A low, clear, cool voice, subtly laced with a hint of indulgence, echoed in Qin Shi's ears. Upon hearing the familiar voice, Qin Shi suddenly opened her eyes and met Jiangyi's gaze, which was filled with a gentle, smiling tenderness as he looked at her. She was surprised and wanted to call out to him, but then suddenly realized where they were. Qin Shi wanted to sit up and give Jiangyi a hug, but the zipper of her sleeping bag got stuck in her haste. Qin Shi, to be embarrassed at a time like this. Are you kidding me? Trapped in the sleeping bag, Qin Shi's face instantly flushed red. She was now like an agitated earthworm, struggling and wriggling in the sleeping bag. Jiangyi looked at Qin Shi with delight. Is his baby so excited to see him appear now? Why is her face red? So cute. After a while, Qin Shi gave up struggling. She lay in the sleeping bag in resignation, feeling the warmth on her cheeks, and turned her head away, not daring to look at Jiangyi, who was half crouched beside her. Jiangyi, baby was so excited just now, why is she ignoring me now? Jiangyi quickly squatted to the other side to look at Qin Shi, but as soon as he moved, Qin Shi turned her head the other way again. Jiangyi, alright, baby must be mad that I worked overtime and didn't spend time with her. Looks like I need to pull out the big guns. Qin Shi thought about waiting for the heat on her face to subside before looking at Jiangyi, but for some reason, after turning her face away, she felt an unstoppable soreness in her eyes, as if the strong shell she had maintained for so long had suddenly cracked. Suddenly, Qin Shi was picked up by Jiangyi, sleeping bag and all, like an infant in swaddling clothes. If Marlixen were to wake up at this moment, he and his live stream audience would be utterly astounded. Because they would witness a marvel. A person, sleeping bag and all, suspended in midair. After Jiangyi picked up Qin Shishi, he met her slightly reddened, misty, beautiful eyes. Tiny glistening droplets clung to her long lashes, and her cheeks bore a faint rosy blush, like an elf suddenly fallen into a perilous land, revealing a fragile and endearing beauty. Seeing his beloved baby, whom he held so dear, display such an expression for the first time, Jiangyi instantly panicked, and his heart skipped a beat. He pressed his face tightly against Qin Shishi's delicate little face and asked her, somewhat with difficulty, "Baby, you regret it, don't you?" Jiangyi's originally clear and cool voice became extremely gentle, and for some reason, it carried a hint of hoarseness, as if imbued with the bitterness of seawater. He held the person in the sleeping bag tightly, and from an angle she couldn't see, his deep eyes were filled with sorrow, as if struggling in pain. Seeing Qin Shishi remain silent, Jiangyi suppressed the metallic taste rising in his throat and restrained the deep longing within him, not letting his emotions affect her. When he spoke again, his voice was already calm. "Baby, I'll let you go, okay? I'll make the master agree." Qin Shishi understood his thoughts from Jiangyi's two statements, and her originally somewhat wrong face instantly turned incredibly angry. "Ah woo!" Qin Shishi was so angry that she turned her head and bit Jiangyi's face, the one that made her angry. Although she didn't actually intend to bite, she just sucked onto the soft flesh of his face and wouldn't let go. Jiangyi, whose face was suddenly bitten by Qin Shishi, instantly froze in place. Chapter 64. These sandpits are also our cemetery. Qin Shishi stared at Jiangyi with a look of disappointment. Biting his soft cheek, she mumbled indistinctly, "You've really grown some guts, to dare not want me." Thoughtful Jiang's translation assistant is online. "You've really grown some guts, to dare not want me." As soon as she finished speaking, Qin Shishi couldn't hold on any longer, and tears streamed down her cheeks. The rustling sobs woke Marlixen, who was not far away, causing him to turn over in his sleeping bag. He was still muttering in his sleep, "Gun, hee, my gun, hee, powerful." Seeing this, Jiangyi thought Qin Shishi was crying to him about the terror of this world, so he directly embraced Qin Shishi and vanished on the spot. "Where are you taking me?" When Qin Shishi let go of Jiangyi's face and saw herself being carried by him, flying in the sky of this world, she asked him in surprise, "I'm taking you to find the ruler, I'm sending you away from this world," Jiangyi said as if he had made up his mind. No sooner had he spoken than Qin Shishi gritted her teeth and said, "My sleeping bag zipper just got stuck. I only cried because I couldn't hug you." In fact, Qin Shishi herself knew very well that she was indeed afraid because of the gore of this instance. Hearing this, Jiangyi, with the red marks from her bite on his cheek, froze in midair. Qin Shishi poked her head out of the sleeping bag, glanced at their current height, and was so scared she didn't dare to breathe, shrinking her head back in fear and urgently telling Jiangyi, "I'm afraid of heights, quickly put me down." "Qin Shishi, I know you can fly, but I can't enjoy it." "Jing, she has a boyfriend who can fly her anywhere, and she can't enjoy it." Degree backquote. Back on the ground, Qin Shishi felt her breathing become smooth again. After Jiangyi rescued her from the sleeping bag, she angrily reached out and pinched his other cheek, the one that hadn't been bitten. "Speak, what do you mean send me away from this world? I don't want a world without you, how dare you decide for me?" As Qin Shishi spoke, tears streamed down her face like a broken string of pearls, but she stubbornly stared at Jiangyi, determined to get an explanation from him. Jiangyi raised his hand and gently wiped away her tears, saying sadly, "I thought my baby couldn't bear this terrifying world anymore, and I didn't want you to suffer for my sake." But no sooner had he finished speaking than the soft flesh on his cheek was directly threatened. Qin Shishi increased her grip. "I'm giving you a chance to say that again." Jiang-gi felt the stinging pain on his cheek, but his heart felt warm. He immediately caved, took Qin Shi Shi's other hand and placed it on his reddened cheek, then bent slightly and pressed his forehead against Qin Shi Shi's, his voice softening. "Baby, I was wrong, I won't ever dare again." Qin Shi Shi looked at Jiang-gi's slightly red eyes. After releasing her hands from his cheeks, she moved them up to encircle his neck, lifted her heels slightly, and kissed him. A glimmer of light flickered in Jiang-gi's eyes, filled with deep affection. He met Qin Shi Shi's smiling gaze. At this moment, her eyes held only him. Diamond suit, hollow circle containing filled circle omega, hollow circle containing filled circle, diamond suit omega. Horror instance area 44 ruins, second day. Ma Lixin woke up groggily and saw Qin Shi Shi sitting dazed on a small stool. "What happened to your mouth?" Ma Lixin noticed that Qin Shi Shi's mouth was much more swollen than yesterday, and he asked her suspiciously. Hearing this, Qin Shi Shi awkwardly covered her swollen lips with her hand, trying to hide it, and said, "It's nothing, I just had an allergic reaction and it swelled up." Allergic reaction? What in this terrifying world could make your mouth swell up like that? Faced with Ma Lixin's persistent questioning, Qin Shi Shi directly changed the subject, saying, "I know why you were attacked by the corpse monsters." Ma Lixin immediately perked up, happily pulled a small stool in front of Qin Shi Shi, sat down, and listened carefully to her analysis. It turned out that Ma Lixin was attacked by the corpse monsters, who never usually attack players, because he habitually showed off with his gun. Those corpse monsters, when alive, were hunted down by mushroom head monsters carrying firearms. They were very sensitive to the smell of gunpowder, and even after dying and becoming monsters, they still remembered those smells. When Ma Lixin led the mushroom head monsters to the corpse monsters, he must have used his firearm midway, and his body would have been tainted with the smell of gunpowder. So, those corpse monsters mistook Ma Lixin, who smelled of gunpowder, for a fellow mushroom head monster and attacked him. He must have put away his weapon after escaping and meeting A Pai, and the wind and sand along the way blew away the smell of gunpowder from him. That's why when he arrived at the secret base full of corpse monsters, they didn't get up and attack him. Beauty Shi Shi, just as you said, when I met A Pai, I put my gun away because I saw he was afraid of it, and I haven't used it since. Ma Lixin wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and continued, "Having narrowly escaped death, luckily, I didn't take out my beloved gun here, otherwise, this would have been the burial place for both it and me." This scatterbrained Ma Lixin is really unlucky. He probably never imagined that this instance, which he had wanted to clear for so long, wouldn't allow him to use a gun. Good thing Beauty Shi Shi discovered that the corpse monsters reacted to the smell of firearms and ammunition before Ma Lixin could show off with his gun, otherwise Ma Lixin would have suffered a terrible defeat. Now that the corpse monsters are on their side, and the instant's task is to protect the children in the ruins, Beauty Shi Shi and the others must deal with those mushroom head monsters. Now that they know the mushroom head monster's weak point, how will Beauty Shi Shi and the others deal with them? Wow, big brothers and sisters, are you coming to play? Sliding down this big sandpit slope is really fun. Xiao Shi, holding his younger sister Xiuya, slid down the sand wall of the big sandpit and shouted to Qin Shi Shi and Ma Lixin. Hearing this, Ma Lixin dashed from outside the tent to the big sandpit and started sliding down the slope, his laughter almost drowning out that of the children younger than him. "Qin Shi Shi, sister, aren't you going to play?" A Pai looked at his friend sliding in the sandpit and asked Qin Shi Shi. "Sister isn't used to playing this, you all go ahead." Qin Shi Shi politely refused. Then, remembering A Pai's sudden disappointment last night, she gently asked him, "A Pai, you knew the mushroom head monsters could be killed, weren't you very happy then? Why were you unhappy later? Can you tell sister?" "Sister, there are only a few adults left in our area 44, and there are many children here. And mushroom head monsters love to eat children our age the most." A Pai's face showed an expression usually seen on adults. He said calmly, Although we know the mushroom head monsters can be killed, we don't have the ability to kill them, do we? We are destined not to grow up here. Those empty sandpits were dug by the adults who were still alive before. Now they are gone, and soon it will be our turn. These sandpits are also our graves. After speaking, Apai also joined the sliding group. Amidst the children's laughter, Kinshishi couldn't hear their joy or happiness, only the endless despair hidden beneath their vibrant exteriors. Chapter 65 I've had a terrible day, so I'll use you to get rid of it. Get away from me. Stop following me. Zhu Shidong used a meter-long wooden stick he picked up to create distance between himself and Wang Bafu. Good teammate, we share blessings and misfortunes. Don't be so dramatic. Wang Bafu's shameless words instantly made Zhu Shidong furious, and he said in exasperation, I haven't even enjoyed any blessings and I'm already dying from bad luck. You're like a turtle looking at a green bean. Am I a green bean? Bah, 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 how unlucky. Nothing good happened all day yesterday, so get lost, stay away from me. As Zhu Shidong finished speaking, Wang Bafu pouted, his expression indifferent, but he felt a bit guilty, thinking, I'm so unlucky, but aren't we both fine now? Why bother with all this? Hearing this, Zhu Shidong put the stick aside and immediately knelt, begging Wang Bafu to let him go, and listed all the unlucky incidents that had happened since Wang Bafu started following him yesterday. Yesterday, after Zhu Shidong and Wang Bafu lost track of Kinshishi, they were chased by mushroom head monsters into a dead end. Zhu Shidong twisted his ankle when he climbed over the wall at the dead end. Fortunately, they escaped the monster's pursuit and thought of looking for Kinshishi, but unexpectedly, as Zhu Shidong was walking, he stepped on a manhole cover, which shattered into pieces, and he fell through. After Wang Bafu rescued him, he leaned against a low wall to rest, only for a nearby stone pillar to suddenly fall directly towards him, scaring him into rolling away quickly, narrowly avoiding being crushed into a pulp. It wasn't over yet. Zhu Shidong dodged the stone pillar only to fall into the arms of a corpse covered in sand, its hollow eye sockets terrifying him so much that he scrambled several meters away. Throughout this journey, he was also constantly chased by randomly appearing mushroom head monsters. He was truly at the peak of bad luck. Filled circle. Oh, I forgot, Zhu Shidong and Wang Bafu. I wonder how they are doing. Kinshishi suddenly remembered these two unlucky teammates. She knew she had forgotten something. Realizing that two teammates were still stranded, Kinshishi quickly called out to Ma Lixin, who was having a great time playing with the children. The two went out together to search for their teammates. As soon as they stepped onto the path they had fled on yesterday, they heard urgent male voices coming from not far away. Unlucky, unlucky, unlucky. Stop talking, Wang Bafu. The more you talk, the unluckier we get. Shut your crow's mouth. Let's run for our lives. Wang Bafu, scared by Zhu Shidong's words, covered his mouth and ran desperately. Zhu Shidong, holding the long stick from before, kept his distance from Wang Bafu, also dodging the mushroom head monsters chasing them from behind. Kinshishi and Ma Lixin followed the intense sounds of gunfire and the cries for help from the unlucky duo. Now that we know their weak point, what's there to be afraid of? Watch me. Ma Lixin said, using a reflection item to protect himself, then took a thick baseball bat from his system wristband and charged towards the mushroom head monsters chasing the two unlucky teammates. You mushroom head idiots! Let your grandpa Ma Lixin show you what's what. Hearing this arrogant voice made Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong, who were still running for their lives, stop in their tracks. The mushroom head monsters also stopped their pursuit and looked towards Ma Lixin. Kinshishi, on the other hand, calmly used the item she had recently acquired from her last instance, the Guai Guai obedient ghost tentacles. Ma Lixin looked at the monsters in front of him, who had a bewildered expression, thinking that his brave and fearless posture had impressed them. Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong also looked in the direction of Kinshishi with horrified expressions. What the hell was that? How could a player have something so terrifying? Just as Marlixen was about to charge forward and fight the mushroom head monsters, an even faster figure directly bypassed him. Qin Shi Shi, wearing blood-mist high heels, with countless, obedient ghost tentacles, growing from her back, moved at an extremely fast speed into the ranks of the mushroom head monsters. One tentacle controlled one mushroom head monster, directly wrapping around their necks and lifting them into the air. Individual tentacles directly pierced into the mushroom head monsters' heads, consuming their brain crystals. The mushroom head monsters whose brain crystals were eaten instantly exploded into a pile of minced meat and foul water. Qin Shi Shi recoiled a few steps in disgust. She couldn't control these tentacles very well yet, she could only command them to attack, and fine-tuning their control would have to wait for her to slowly figure it out later. What are you staring at? Come quickly and smash their brain crystals. Qin Shi Shi quickly called out to her teammates, who were standing dazed, watching the show. What are brain crystals? Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong, completely unfamiliar with this instance, asked with bewildered expressions. Marlixen, watch how I do it, and then do the same. I'll explain it to you later. With that, Marlixen swung his baseball bat, smashing the head of a mushroom head monster controlled by Qin Shi Shi. For the brain crystals that weren't shattered, he went in for a follow-up strike. Oh my god, is Beauty Shi Shi a player? How did she get the tentacle item? That's amazing. Such a beautiful woman, but unfortunately, she has a bag full of black tentacles, it's too terrifying. Woo woo woo. Yes, just like that, crush their brain crystals. I was wondering how they kept resurrecting endlessly, so it was the stupid thing that was screwing me over. Yeah, I swung a big saber and cut off one mushroom head monster's head after another, but new bodies just grew out from under their heads. My arms were exhausted. There are 2 more mushroom head monsters over there. Wang Bafu shouted, pointing at 2 mushroom head monsters playing dead in the ruins. Beauty Shi Shi, quickly grab them with your tentacles, don't let them run back and warn the others. Marlixen shouted to Qin Shi Shi. Alright, watch me. With that, Qin Shi Shi quickly stepped forward, and the tentacles behind her also attacked the targets in front of her. When those 2 monsters were discovered by Wang Bafu, they stopped playing dead and quickly got up and fled. One sharp-eyed mushroom head monster rushed directly to Zhu Shidong, who was closest to him, pulled out the gun hanging around its neck, and fired bullets at him. Bang bang bang. A series of bullet explosions and scraping sounds rang out. Qin Shi Shi, unable to stop it in time, looked anxiously at Zhu Shidong. Zhu Shidong quickly covered his head with his hands and crouched down. Fortunately, what everyone feared did not happen. Zhu Shidong, out of fear before fighting the monster, had already activated a reflection item on himself. The bullets flying towards Zhu Shidong were reflected back onto that mushroom head monster. He was knocked back and fell to the ground. Soon after, his wounds healed, and he tried to get up, but he was wrapped by Qin Shi Shi's tentacles and lifted into the air. You dare to scare me. I've been unlucky all day, so today I'll use you to get rid of this bad luck. Beauty Shi Shi, leave the monster for me to finish off. Zhu Shidong grabbed the mace he had purchased from the system and walked proudly towards Qin Shi Shi, who was holding the mushroom head monster, determined to avenge himself. Chapter 66. They couldn't share the limited resources of their own district. Bang! Zhu Shidong, who had already gathered his strength, was preparing to deliver a critical blow to the head of a mushroom head monster, but he wasn't watching where he was going and tripped over a protruding rock on the road. Qin Shi Shi, an accident. That was an accident, let's do it again. Zhu Shidong, awkwardly getting up from the ground, immediately delivered a critical blow to that mushroom head monster. Marlixen withdrew his gaze from the retreating figure of the mushroom head monster that had already run far away. He asked Qin Shi Shi worriedly, Beauty Shi Shi, that monster got away, what should we do? Qin Shi Shi calmly said, when soldiers come, we block them, When water comes, we cover it with earth. After returning to the secret base, Qin Shi Shi and the others discussed and decided to escort these children to District 45, which was closest to District 44. Wang Bafu looked troubled. What if they refused to take them in? Qin Shi Shi glanced at the children sliding down the slope, then explained, "This is only temporary. We can make a deal with them, otherwise, once we leave this instance, the children will definitely be eaten by monsters. So the only thing we can do is send them to another district to grow up." "What kind of deal?" Ma Lixin asked her, puzzled. "Qin Shi Shi, we will tell them how to kill the monsters, using this as a condition for exchange, to ensure the children grow up safely." Zhu Shidong stroked his chin, analyzing, "Beauty Shi Shi means a balance of power, right? The people in this instance all think mushroom head monsters are unkillable. Now that they know how to eliminate them, people in other districts might unite to fight against the monsters." Qin Shi Shi nodded. This way, they will be willing to accept the people from District 44. Both adults and children will have a place to stay. So, they discussed departing tomorrow, from District 44 to the nearest District 45, to safely escort the children. At night, Jiang Yi came to find Qin Shi Shi after dealing with the players in his instance. However, he came at an inconvenient time. Tired from a day's work, she had already fallen asleep. So Jiang Yi went straight to sleep next to Qin Shi Shi, extending his arm to hold his baby and sleep together. NG_NG keep going. Third day of the horror instance 44 ruins. "I slept so peacefully last night," Qin Shi Shi stretched and exclaimed. "Damn it, I had nightmares all night, with monsters constantly chasing me." Zhu Shidong complained, sporting dark circles under his eyes from lack of sleep. Wang Bafu next to him rubbed his eyes, drowsily saying, "I had a strange dream. I actually dreamed that a handsome guy was sleeping while hugging Beauty Shi Shi." "Ah, why would you have such a strange dream?" Qin Shi Shi laughed, trying to convince Wang Bafu that he had just had a dream. "I don't know, it felt so real, the location was right here." Wang Bafu pointed to the spot where Qin Shi Shi had slept on the floor last night, still trying to verify the reality of the dream. Qin Shi Shi had always felt someone hugging her while she slept at night, and she had vaguely opened her eyes to confirm it was Jiang Yi. It seemed Wang Bafu had accidentally seen them last night. "Let's not talk about this. We should set off. Let's see if the children are ready." Qin Shi Shi changed the subject. Once everything was ready, Qin Shi Shi and her group took all the children to District 45. Along the way, they encountered scattered mushroom head monsters, which Qin Shi Shi and her group killed one by exploding their brain crystals, leaving no chance of resurrection. As they were about to reach the outskirts of District 45, Qin Shi Shi and her group encountered hundreds of mushroom head monsters, who seemed to have been ambushing them in this area for a long time. It seemed the escaped mushroom head monster had gone back to report, and then followed them all the way from the secret base. The terrain here was very disadvantageous for Qin Shi Shi and her group. The monsters were on high ground, and they were on low ground. "Use protective gear on the children." As Qin Shi Shi finished speaking, she pulled out many reflective items from the system and used them on the children. Seeing this, Ma Lixin and the others also distributed some reflective items and applied them to the children. "We're outnumbered, what should we do?" Wang Bafu said anxiously. Qin Shi Shi looked around at the constantly surging mushroom head monsters, and a flash of inspiration struck her. She excitedly shouted to Ma Lixin, "Ma Lixin, District 45 isn't far from here, and isn't the outside of their protective wall piled high with corpse monsters?" "Beauty Shi Shi, I understand what you mean. I'll rush out now and use my gun to lure those corpse monsters over. You all hold on." As he spoke, Ma Lixin used a reflective item, shooting one mushroom head monster after another, each shot critically striking the monster's brain crystals, then quickly broke through the encirclement to get reinforcements. Qin Shishi used her tentacles to lift all the children to a height where monsters couldn't reach them, then used her remaining tentacles to kill the monsters. Wang Bafu and Zhu Shidong each wielded a spike club, and with the enhancement of the reflective items, they decapitated the monsters. However, Qin Shishi and her group's energy was limited, and facing the endless stream of mushroom head monsters, they were quickly reaching their limit. Fortunately, Ma Lixin returned in time. The corpse monsters Heliod, upon smelling gunpowder, furiously attacked the mushroom head monsters. Taking advantage of this momentary gap, Qin Shishi and the others successfully escaped with the children. As Qin Shishi left, she conveniently grabbed a mushroom head monster with her tentacles. Beauty Shishi, why are you bringing a mushroom head monster? Ma Lixin asked, puzzled. Qin Shishi smiled mysteriously, you'll know when we get outside District 45. Soon, everyone arrived outside the protective wall of District 45. After Ma Lixin explained their purpose, he was met with several warning bullets. You say you can kill monsters, why should I believe you? A person holding a gun and guarding the high wall said with disdain. Whether you believe it or not is not up to you. Call your superior. Qin Shishi stopped Ma Lixin, who was still trying to explain, and shook her head, telling him not to explain so much to someone who couldn't make decisions. Soon, a middle-aged man with a leadership aura was called over. Outsiders, as long as you can prove you can kill monsters, our District 45 is willing to take you in. The leader confidently promised Qin Shishi and the others below the wall. Upon hearing this, Qin Shishi immediately had Ma Lixin decapitate the mushroom head monster she had captured on the spot. The mushroom head monster instantly turned into a pile of minced meat and foul water, never to revive. Seeing this, the leader on the wall excitedly ordered people to invite Qin Shishi and her group into District 45. I never thought you could really eliminate these undead monsters. From now on, people in all our districts will no longer fear those mushroom head monsters. We can finally balance those undead monsters. The leader of District 45 spoke, and tears even welled up in his eyes. They very much wanted to accept people from the fallen zones, but facing an undead enemy, they couldn't share their district's limited resources. Now that they had a method to eliminate mushroom head monsters, the people in their district could safely go outside the protective wall to search for supplies. Not only could they no longer fear those monsters, but they could also unite with people from other districts to proactively attack the monsters, protect their homeland, and rebuild their homes. Qin Shishi and her group stayed in District 45 until the 7th day of the instance game, after which the system judged their mission successful and teleported them out of the instance.